Looks like I've got the Lyle Lovitz hairdo today. Um, Anyways, I have been listening to a lot of podcasts recently from Biblical Literacy. That is a website. Mark Lanier is the name of the guy who does most of the podcasts. It's either biblicalliteracy.com or biblicalliteracy.org, and there's a little minus sign in between biblical and literacy. So at biblical-literacy.com. And one of the most recent ones I listened to was on C.S. Lewis. Now, C.S. Lewis was obviously not a Christian when he was first born. There came a time in his life when he moved to theism. He started off atheist, then theist, and then Christian. And when he was in his atheist phase, he was talking, according to this podcast, he was talking with J.R.R. Tolkien. And I don't think I'd really ever heard this story before. I'd heard parts of it, but not quite this, not as much detail as was on the podcast. And what Lanier said was that he was talking with Tolkien, and they were talking about Christianity, and Lewis was an atheist, and Lewis brought up this argument, which kind of reminds me of the "we're all atheists about most dogs" argument. The argument was that he didn't believe in God because there were so many different faiths. The Christian is rather arrogant to think that he is right and all the other religions are wrong. This was his argument to Tolkien. And then Tolkien said, well, it's even worse for the person who takes the atheistic position, because they're saying that everybody's wrong. At least the Christians admit that they're right, and the other religions are wrong. But the atheist says that all religions are wrong. And then various things happened, and he became eventually a Christian. And the axiological argument comes into that as well. But the point I wanted to make was this argument of Tolkien's. I think that that's a really interesting point, which I guess I had not really thought about before. That it does seem when a person is being reflective on their faith, it's obvious that there's a lot of other faiths out there in the marketplace of ideas. There's a lot of other religions, and we all think at times, I think, or at least I've thought before myself, maybe I guess maybe the other people may be onto something. It does seem rather scandalous to suppose that we are right and everybody else is wrong. But the atheist does take it even one step further in saying that even the Christians are wrong. So that's one more group to throw into the mix of who's wrong. So I think the climate, perhaps not so much now, maybe, but when I was in high school and the early years of college, there was a lot of relativism in the air, a postmodern zeitgeist, if you will, and the idea of saying I'm right and you're wrong kind of hurt our ears growing up in that era. But the atheist, just like everybody else, everybody, and Ravi Zacharias, a Christian apologist, has also made this point about religious pluralism. Everybody, every religion, every view uh, I suppose you could say every view outside of religion as well thinks that they are right and everybody else is wrong. And in some cases, they are right. In some cases, they're not right. But the fact of the matter is that truth, it's not a democracy, it's not a matter of vote. It is absolute, it is exclusive. Everybody is exclusive. 2 plus 2 equals 4. If you disagree, you are wrong. Uh, so I just thought I'd relay this argument to you of Tolkien's by way of biblical literacy and Mark Lanier, and also at the same time plug biblical literacy. It's an excellent website. You really are doing yourself a favor if you check it out and listen to it. It's mostly about the Bible, but there is one series about church history, which is where the C.S. Lewis lecture comes in. But the other ones are mostly about the Old Testament and Paul and things like that. All right, thanks for watching. Shalom out.